GM everyone. Welcome to Let's Play Little Nouns. We got about 8 hours to go on our vote. It's going to be a scramble, a mad dash to get the votes. It's about noon here on Thursday, April 6th. We got a great show for you. We're going to give you an update on how our prop is doing, how our numbers are doing, and how we think we can win. We're going to do some recap. We've had a lot of stuff going on. We might have some guests. We might be joined by the microwave. Prof. Worder might show up to talk about flamingos. We're going to get all into that right after this sizzle reel. This is Proposal 116, the last 8 hours. Welcome to the show.
Nouns.
Sizzle reel.
To have a show where people can kind of watch and understand what the whole process is, I think would be super valuable.
Nouns is designed for permissionless creativity. You should just start doing stuff.
Oh my God, the deadline is in 9 minutes.
Do these live interviews.
That's actually really a really good question.
There are really very few yellows that are usable.
Larry King.
Stream directly to Twitter.
It's very funny to me that Will Price was in the intro.
Easier to stumble upon.
Ethereum is a name that describes a particular network.
Playing nouns like a game.
How well you know your onions.
Oh, I'm so bad at this.
A very fun, cool example of what's possible here.
Submitted.
Watching you work in Figma is very enjoyable in itself.
All right, GM everyone. GM's a special show here. We're counting down the last couple hours to the vote, about 8 hours to be specific. So I'm going to go on. I'm going to do a little recap. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to invite anyone to join me. If you have a question, if you have a little noun, if you are curious, hop on the stream. I'm going to paste the banner right here. I am also going to tweet it out. At Little Panda WTF. This is a multiplayer game. So we're going to go here to the stream. We're going to post this. I'm going to go over to Little Nouns. All right. Okay. All right. So we are going to check in right now. I'm going to give sort of a recap of what's been happening. Here we go on the vote, the raw vote numbers. We're still behind. 802 against. That means we need to get to 803 and have no yes votes, or excuse me, no more no votes. So the math there is going to be 802 minus 433, and that is going to be, let's see, 370 yes votes. Assuming no more no votes. So we need at least 370 yes votes. How much time do we have? We have until 8:30 my time. That's 10:30 Eastern. That is 8 hours and 7 minutes. Although keep in mind this block time can fluctuate. It started out initially at 7:45, and so we've had a little bit of extra time. But this is our number. We need 370 more yes votes at a minimum. So let me make that bold. All right. So let's get a better sense of where these votes are coming from. Proposals are based on token weighted voting. So the only thing that matters is how many little noun tokens are voted, and we're losing. We're behind by 370. So how does that break down? So we've had 31 addresses vote for us. Those are 31 unique Ethereum transactions from different wallets. And there have been 8 addresses that voted against us. Now we know that at least we have strong reason to believe that 3 of these larger wallets are all Will Price. MFers told me why he didn't want to vote for it. Made sense. Yeah, he's concerned about metrics. He likes the work, just concerned about metrics. He gave me that feedback. Shout out MFers. A lot of respect for MFers. Motion design, large voter, I think 52 votes. Yeah, I talked to him, couldn't really quite get a reason out of him. He said in his vote reason that basically, you know what, let's pull that up. This is part of it. You vote in these nounish DAOs and you vote with a reason, then gives it, you know, it's important. It gives us something to. Okay, so here's what he said. All right. Basically, he thinks not worth it, not worth the cost. Doesn't think it'll return enough. Makes sense. Totally fair. I think that's basically the reasoning from Will Price. He basically told me that. He engaged with me in DM. Shout out Will Price. Yeah, just couldn't persuade him otherwise. But okay, so how does this break down? It looks like this. So each of these green circles, and this is from Tally. Go back to Figma here. This is tally.xyz, excellent resource. Shout out Tally. In particular, a Tally voter who voted for me with 0 votes. This prop. But anyway, you know, we got these 2 large wallets, or Will, Price, Believe, as well as one of these small ones. Motion here is a no. I believe this was Sussex, a large holder who voted no last night. That hurt. But no reason that I could see. Let's just confirm that. Yeah, no reason. 81 votes, no reason. It's going to be right there. Motion. And let's see, MFers. Concerned about metrics. Totally fair. Totally makes sense. So I want to talk about a couple things. Okay, I'm gonna take a quick break. I gotta do a quick call. So I'll be right back. And
Nouns.
sizzle reel.
To have a show where people can kind of watch and understand what the whole process is, I think would be super valuable.
Nouns is designed for permissionless creativity. You should just start doing stuff.
Oh my god, the deadline is in 9 minutes.
Do these live interviews.
That's actually really a really good question.
There are really very few yellows that are used.
All right, I'm back. Okay, so how do we get to 370 yes votes? The answer basically right there. This is the Little Nounders wallet. All right, so here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go through the votes so far. Oops. Hot.littlepanda, WTF.eth. Okay, so I'm going to go through the wallet so far. The governor contract. It's this one right here. So, scary. What is this? What's going on? All right. This is the contract you interact with to vote. So shout out Prof Worder, the nounish prof. I believe Prof's going to come on. 1 hour, 12 minutes ago, she cast a vote with reason, which we love to see. So let's show what this looks like. Okay. So from right here, what do we know? So 3 types of things. One is what prop is it voting on? That's 116. That's this one. The second thing is there a support or not a support? And so 1 means support. And 2 is the reason. If they give a reason, the reason here, need more props like this. Shout out Prof. Shout out Prof. All right. Let's go then. Is it this one? Not this one. It's right here. There we go. All right, this is MFers no vote. So when I decode this, I'm gonna drag this into Figma. All right, so now, how do we read this? So 116, same prop. Support 0, meaning does not support. And then the reason, right here. So this is a no vote. Now, another thing I want to check is there was an early abstention. So I want to see how that looks. Gwen voted no. Is it no, Joe? Yes. Abstention right here. Not totally sure why no Joe's voting no. Looks like that was no Joe's first ever vote. Let's see how long they've had their little noun. "31 days ago." From the blur pool. Yo, English GM. Yo, English, can you hear me?
Yeah, I was just switching my audio settings. What's going on, buddy?
Yo, just last 8 hours of the vote or so. So just kind of trying to scrounge up some votes, do a little education.
How do you think you're doing?
You know, let's go back to the big board. I think, you know, I think there's some really good things, things I've done really well and that are promising, and some things that I could have done better. But, you know, 31 unique addresses, I think, is a really good number. Of course, the only number that matters is if you can get the number, if you can get the more for votes than against.
Of course. The last time I saw the big votes against you were 2 wallets from Will Price. I believe the second wallet is Will Price as well. And you had Motion, who's kind of said that he's believes in putting a hold on spending for 99% of things until a foreseeable future, unless he's changed his stance on anything. So those are like kind of almost automatic no's, unless, you know, Motion maybe could have been persuaded. Who else is a big block that you have against you?
Sussex just voted against me last night.
Who is
that? Just kind of a newer. He's the one who, I believe, delegated his noun to us. Got 81 votes.
Yes. We gave him 81 votes for his noun or something like that. It was like a trade, right?
Was it? Did we give him the 80? I'm not sure if that ever happened.
Oh, okay. Okay. He just bought it on his own or whatever.
You know, we could find out.
I thought for some reason, I know he had jumped in the Discord and talked about like, hey, you know, like I'll give you my nouns to delegate vote, but maybe I can get some little nouns votes instead. I don't know if that was, like you said, if that was ever executed or not, but.
Yeah. And then there's a third Will wallet that's smaller.
So I was thinking about your prop, and the last time I came here, this is what I would tell you, and I have no idea why they, I'm sure everyone had different reasons for voting against you, and I think generally speaking, probably the people that voted for you at least to some degree, the same reason that I voted. That I think you have a good product, it's nice, and they believe in you and your commitment to keep building in the DAO. I think the product, from my perspective, might have like a slight product customer fit like problem, and this is why I say that because, and I mentioned it briefly on the last time I was on here. It was just that even content creators, the biggest ones in the space, you're talking about people like Farouk, you're talking about there's a bunch of them. The Nifty Gateway Show, in the morning with Pio, which draws huge numbers. All these stuff, they get very minimal views on like YouTube, which they stream to as well, and other video stuff. I just think that in the niche that we are in, people just go to Twitter, they read, or they join a space, and then that's really about it. So you might get 5 or 10 people that'll come check out your product, and it's a great product, but there's not a big demand for it at the moment. There's not a big demand for people that are already in NFTs looking for video content on NFTs. You might get like the random person. I mean, John Carlo, who's probably the biggest YouTube streamer, might get. I think he has like 10,000 followers, and I think if he gets like 1,000 people, is a lot. And I know those metrics sound great for us, but I'm talking about the biggest NFT streamer. These other guys, I mean, if you look at like the Proof podcast that's streamed on YouTube, that might get like 100 views or 200 views. So like, and that's something that's backed by Proof with a great analytics guy from, I forget exactly what firm he's from, but and he's well known, and he has a huge following on Twitter. I mean, huge. All the big people follow him. And so I just think that we're a niche of a niche. We're little nouns of the nouns ecosystem, and I just don't think that there's many people that will come check it out. I think it's a good product for legacy for sure. So that's just something that I thought that maybe is in the back of the mind of some of the people that don't know you as well as maybe some of the people that voted for you, and maybe just something to consider.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. I think you're right about that. And yeah, I mean, the other thing is it's really hard to grow social following on Twitter, on YouTube. New creators, like the deck is stacked against you. Like Twitter, for example, they do this thing where even if someone tries to type in my name to find me, like I don't pop up. So you can type in at Lil Panda WTF, and I don't pop up. So you can also, like, it blocks people from tagging you, from responding. So, I mean, that's a tough barrier to go. And the metric is people want views and all that kind of stuff, which I totally understand why they want that. It's just really tough to do. But yeah, I totally take your point. Like, if the metric is views, I don't think people are going to vote for this. And yeah, what I've been trying to talk about, and hey, Cardinal GM, is that this prop is more. It's not so much just about content. It's about playing and branding nouns as a game, and it's sort of a co-op game. It's not just content that you want people to kind of mindlessly consume. Like, it's content that I want people to engage with. I want people to show up on stream. I want people to build, to compete against me in Prop House. And so that's kind of the audience I've been going for. But, we'll see. I mean, obviously the DAO's going to make its judgment in about 8 hours, and we'll get that feedback. But yeah, dude, totally appreciate. You were my first voter, English. You've been very, very supportive. Really appreciate you coming on.
No problem.
And Cardno's here too. Your right-hand man. Cardno, GM.
Cardno is my right-hand man. Welcome, number one. I don't know if he could talk.
He's got to just unmute Command D.
in my mind, when the moment that you said he's my right hand man, I envisioned myself as Jean-Luc Picard, and he's like the other guy. What's his name? And I said,
Spock.
make it so #1. No, not Spock. That's the first generation one. That was with William Shatner's. I'm talking about Jean-Luc Picard, the next generation, and he had Riker. Was it Commander Riker? I'd have to look that up.
Yeah. I'm going to get you guys both on the big board here.
Yeah, it was Riker. William T. Riker. Can you get like a picture of Jean-Luc Picard and William Riker and put it next to our faces?
Yeah.
I don't know if Carno's as humored about this as I am. Yeah, and going back to it, like, yeah, I think even if it's not a piece of content that you, like you said, someone to mind Cardinal says, why can't I hear you? So Cardinal can't hear us, by the way.
He's got to just, it's his audio settings. So if he goes to settings, he's got to set the right audio.
Oh, that's a
Speaker
young
and
Riker
mic.
too. All right, maybe I'll type that in the chat for him.
All right, maybe this one will work for Cardno. Cardno, GM. Hey, you're super faint, but we can hear you now.
Okay. I don't know why that's happening, but I'm going to go and do some washing up anyway, so I will mute and listen to you talking in the background, and then try and join to see what happens.
Yeah, sweet. Dude, great to have you, Cardno. GM, just got you up on the big board. Really appreciate your vote.
Beautiful.
Yeah, I can get you one more vote because I had an extra little noun that I let a friend borrow because he was a little noun curious, and he said he's been voting, but maybe he hasn't seen this, so I'll reach out to him and get you another vote on my behalf.
Sweet, dude.
Yeah.
That's another lesson, by the way, I've learned is just the importance of awareness and just competing for attention. And as an example, like a lot of people were like, I had no idea. I totally want to vote for you. I had to reach out and kind of bring them aware. So even like people who support you, it's kind of hard to get a lot of votes. But yeah, dude, I'm trying to get as many votes as possible. So it's much appreciated.
Yeah. I mean, I think in any kind of DAO, and with the market being the way that it is, and maybe our treasury being the way that it is, so if you want to lump that into market conditions plus just the nature of a DAO, I'd say voter turnout is like 80% of the problem. You know, I think if you're somebody that's a good player in the space, you're active in the Discord or Twitter or wherever you hang, and you engage with people either from a builder standpoint or from a networking standpoint or whatever is your lane. And I think people generally want to support that. And, you know, anybody who's in this DAO, for the most part, I'd say very few people are just here to learn about governance and enjoy the technology. That might be a component that they enjoy, but they're interested in exchanging their talent and output for money. And so they want to see other people succeed, right? And especially people that they believe in and get along with. And so I think the main barrier is just when it comes to vote, that they're aware that you have something of value. And they might even know that you have something of value, but they don't know that you're coming up for vote because for whatever reasons, there's a million different reasons. So that awareness is key. But it's key also in what you're doing. And just to kind of go back to my point a little bit earlier, even though if it's not content that somebody would mindlessly watch or just pass the time with or have from an entertainment standpoint, you're still going to need eyes on this to make it valuable for the DAO to spend money on. Because even so, unless there was something later on that could bring more awareness, where like this is kind of like an MVP, and as you progress, you'll find ways to have people get more eyeballs on what you're doing. And as far as the Twitter kind of stuff, yeah, maybe the algorithm's stacked against you, but nouns in itself, mind you, not even little nouns, just nouns in general, doesn't have a great reach in terms of eyeballs. And you can go to NFT Insight, I think is the website, and you can see like the power of each PFP and how much reach it has like globally. And it's pretty low on nouns. And as opposed to like something more prominent, like whether it's Bored Ape or Azuki or Sappy Seals. And I know that's a very different type of beast. So that's a little bit scaled against you right there. But despite that fact, I think it actually makes more sense to build content like this once you're kind of known. It's like a chicken and the egg thing, or a feedback loop. Like it's like you need content to build your brand and your following, but then you need a following to consume your content. So that might be getting to know a lot of people and engaging on Twitter when it's not necessarily your content, or you're putting your content out, liking other people's stuff, retweeting it. Just getting people to know that you're like a builder in the space of whether that's content or products or clients from a dev end. And the more that you engage on there, the more that your content will show up on their feed. And then so I think maybe to a certain extent, if you want to go into the content creator kind of side, which at the end of the day, this is a different form of content that's not typical, right? It's not your little short videos, it's not your Twitter spaces, but it's still content. You might just need to build up your presence on Twitter before any of this stuff gets traction. So like if your account had 5,000 followers and you were active where you're tweeting 2 or 3 times a day and maybe responding to 5 different people's, and you've been doing that for 6 months, and then you post a piece of content, maybe somebody that's pretty well known will retweet it, and that kind of helps. But if you're just only putting out great content without that personal networking and brand building of who you are rather than your product, I think it's a tough road to try to or a tough hill to climb.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, I think that's all really good advice.
Certainly is. Certainly is. It is a tough one, and you have that blockage as well, especially when people, like I say, the fair weather voters of Little Nouns now who might not engage in the channels and see you and Madrovsky in there, every day. They're just the people who don't even engage with Discord and just go on the website and just look at the votes, and you've got that mental blocker, the old Will Price wall, where we had it on our first proposal for the Little Noun show with. We had like people DMing me saying, "Yeah, I just voted for you, but I thought this was going to fly through. How have you got so many, no votes?" And without people interrogating it and realizing this, from a single person, you might have those people who hold, the 5 little nouns, the 10 little nouns who don't really participate in Discord, but go to vote, oh, this looks like a cool crop, I'll vote for this. They open it up, see all the no votes, and they just assume, oh, okay, the DAO doesn't want it, I'll just go with that and press no. So that's something you have to pass as well. And I think, without being engaged every day with little nouns and knowing how Will Price is Will Price, then you're just not going to know that.
And it's part of Will Price's strategy too, right? Like he bombs it early on purpose for the optics.
100%, dude. He knows exactly what I just said there is one of the, by doing that, he knows he can, put you on the back foot straight away, and people will come in and go, "Oh fuck, this is just a dog shit prop." They don't even read it. You know what I mean? And all of a sudden they just throw like their 30 votes against you because they're just going with the crowd. He knows what he's doing, man.
Yeah, it's really a first impression type of thing because people are lazy. They may or may not read it. Mm-hmm. And sometimes you just see something and it's like, okay, this has 95% of people voting, for it, and it's on its way over there, so you're more inclined, whether it's like an emoji vote or an actual on-chain or a prop house.
Yeah. People rarely, if you reach out to someone, just going back to what you were saying, Brian, it is that awareness thing. If you reach out to people, at first you feel, oh, should I reach out to this person and DM them because it sounds like, shilling, and you shouldn't tell people how to vote or what to do with their votes. But like you said, 90% of the time, the people I've reached out to before are just
didn't even know there was a prop up. Yeah, always support you guys. I mean, that's the first thing they say, and go and vote for it. So yeah, there's definitely merit in like DMing people, and I think I don't know whether I was speaking English about this. I think a week or so ago, because we were sort of ideating on our proposal for like the end of the month about ways to go about it. And I think with certain people who have got bigger holders, I might just be like, this is going to go up. Here's the prop that's gone up on chain. Instead of like DMing them when the votings began, maybe DMing them, when it's first gone up, so they've got like sight of it and not like speak about the voting at all, and then maybe drop back in to be like, oh, the voting's now open, or whatever. I don't know, but we'll see. Maybe I'm just trying to. Maybe I'm overthinking it because we've done okay in the past anyway.
Yeah, for sure. But I mean, I will say it's been a fun experience. However, it turns out, I feel like we've learned a lot.
When does it end?
7 hours, 7.5 hours.
So, has Jake voted for?
No.
Why not? What's the reason?
I don't know. I've DM'd him and he just doesn't respond.
Oh.
But it really comes down to Lil Nounders. I mean, I don't think Jake's vote makes a difference unless that would sway the Lil Nounders.
Exactly. That's what I was going to say. It does make a difference because if, for instance, you were on the same amount as the yes and no's, then the Little Nounders would be more inclined to like tip it over the balance. If you're like quite far behind, like they still could and they still have in the past, because Dot's very like vocal of like one person shouldn't control the DAO, and this person being like Will, but he'll be more inclined to vote for something that's like close to being equal or just under, rather than if it's a few hundred under, he might be like, oh, maybe this isn't the will of the DAO sort of thing. So like somebody like Jake with his like 50-60 votes, talking like quite big blocks. I know he's like heading out to New York City, might be flying out actually as we speak, I'm not too sure, but he's generally normally quite good. He's quite good at getting back to like Discord stuff as well, so maybe I don't know whether you can tag him in your like the little Panda Show channel.
He's aware of it. He's aware of the prop. I mean, I've made him aware of it. I bumped him. He said he would check it out.
Okay, that's fair enough. What about all the other main players? Like Marvel Girl, she's like always hard to get hold of her.
Yeah.
Beauty and the Punk.
Yeah, I seen Beauty and the Punk, Marvel Girl. They're fucking hard people to fucking track down.
Which reminds me, maybe we should start tracking them down for the for the foreseeable 3 weeks that we have left.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. Yeah, that's what I was trying to get to earlier. That maybe it's worth like dropping in beforehand. That's before you even stick it up, sort of thing. I don't know. It's tough because you can speak to them fucking 2 weeks in advance of putting it up, and then when the time comes, you could DM them and they just could not be around. It's just a bit of a tough one, really. But 7 hours, you still get a good few votes in 7 hours, and like I say, it's all about the Little Nounders, really. Have you had any interaction with Dot on it at all?
Yeah, he's said that he likes the stream in public calls. But he won't, I DM him. He doesn't really respond, I think, to most people.
So Panda, my strategy. So like, you had responded to Cardinal and he gave you his answer in terms of, Little Nounders or the Nounders vote versus, getting these small votes. I just think of it like as more is more, and it doesn't really matter. Like if the person has one vote, if they have 50, I mean, obviously I'm going to go over the people that have, 50, and that's maybe put priority on that. But I just think of it like any sports game that like it might come down to like this last, shot. And if you got like this foul early on, or, you missed a rebound early, that could have been the 2, whatever the case may be. It sometimes it comes down to a thing of inches, right? And then maybe it's like that person had 10 votes and then you come out to, 720 versus 690, and then Dot sees that you just need 9 more votes and he doesn't feel bad about 9 votes or whatever, 30 votes or whatever. I just think he might be averse to using whatever amount of votes he has to get something through, right? But if it only has like 20 or 30 votes to get it through, he'll be like, you know what, let's do this. So I fight for every single one, obviously not trying to harass anybody, just kind of nudging people that are either busy or forgot or whatever. And if they don't like it, then I'll talk to them about it. If they're a no, then they're a no, and that's fine. And I move on to the next one. But I fight tooth and nail, dude. I fight tooth and nail for it. Because you put a lot of work, energy into it, right? So why let the challenge of getting the voter turnout, right? Like even in a normal election, political U.S. election, there's tons of money that's allocated to voter turnout outside of the stump speeching and ads on TV and going on political debates and going on shows. That's one thing, the exposure, but the other one is the voter turnout.
Yeah, 100%. I agree. Our position was a bit different because when we had the little Lounders votes on our two, we'd already tipped the balance, hadn't we? But
the second one we had already basically won it regardless.
Yeah, we didn't need the first one we did because we were short by 10 votes or something, weren't we, in the last hour?
Yeah, we were in the positive, but we just didn't hit quorum, or we weren't going to hit quorum without
that's what it was. Yeah. And then the second one we were already over. But it's tough. I don't know. We'll see what happens now. I'm trying to think who else there is really. It's just one of those things, and it's like a waiting game. It's horrible, really. The little Lounders vote. It's just you're just sitting there going, "Oh, is this even going to pass?" And sometimes people think, "Look what happened with little Saturn." I'm sure he was sat there thinking, "Oh, the little Lounders are going to come in here now," and they just didn't. And then he's gone, man. For the newsletter.
I will say it's been fun, and it's kind of out of my hands, I feel like, but learned a couple things that were kind of interesting. Did you guys know that you can vote on Little Nouns even with no tokens?
Specifically what? Vote for on-chain proposals?
Yeah. So this guy, Dennison Bertram, casted a vote. You see this? And he doesn't own any Little Nouns.
Did he own a Little Noun at the time of Snapshot?
No, he's never owned a Little Noun.
Must be delegated, surely.
No. Never voted before, never had a delegate. Yeah, he voted.
How?
So, anyone can cast a vote.
Can you copy and paste his ETH address onto our little private chat here?
Yeah. Now, it didn't count for anything.
Oh, okay.
Just he was able to cast a vote.
That's strange. Wonder what he was playing up. Very weird. So you're feeling positive, Ed Browning, or not?
I'm feeling like we left it all out on the field. We did a great job. We rallied a bunch of voters. If it's not enough, then it's not enough, Regardless of Will, his vote doesn't even really matter because if we didn't get to quorum anyway, then, now the underrated aspect is really how his vote has the effect of kind of demoralizing people and deterring voters. I had people who like me who were like, what the hell? I'm not going to vote for this. You got 800 no votes. And they don't realize it. So I think that's an underrated part of the game, but I think it's good to talk about it and to get it out there.
It's a deterrent for sure, yeah.
Because otherwise it's just something that happens. It's kind of this inside game that just works to, there's a lot of barriers to playing. But, it's been a fun experience. I still think we have a decent shot.
What's the
I,
plan? What's the plan if the little rounders don't come through? What's your course of action after that?
I don't know. I mean, I genuinely don't know. But
You
whatever
submitted some of
happens,
this
I'm gonna
stuff for
take a
Prop
couple
House,
days
right?
off.
Some of the Prop House rounds, you have something similar to this or no?
Yeah, I did a Hack Week thing, but I'm not gonna win that. So it was in first place until just like a little bit ago. But yeah, I did this current contributors, and I got a good solid amount of votes from the little nounders, or excuse me, from little nouns. I got up to 111 votes, but it's only the top 2 pay, and so I'm in fourth place. And I'm quite a bit behind. Like, I need another 64 votes just to be in second.
That's actually kind of good advice. If neither of ours wins, like, I'm pretty new to little reps, but and you're there with me, right? Yeah. I was kind of the disposition for the grand prize. Maybe we should have gone with maybe 1 or 2, but after looking at this and seeing how competitive it is with just 2 allocations, maybe we should just put our weight behind one person.
Dude, like I don't know why this hasn't like gone through the different phases of reps, but when I was like a rep, that was like one of my main like things I used to like run with. We had like people going, "Oh, can you split the vote on this? Can you split the vote on that? Oh, this person would have passed if you split the vote." All this, and then there was rounds where I was like, "Well, if we'd split the vote here, nobody would have won." Like we had a 100% record on the time I left on which is the second round of reps, that everything we voted for got funded, and that was like the main, the main pro of like little reps. You mean being able to throw the weight around one competitor and guaranteeing them pretty much funding. And I think that's definitely the way it needs to go back to if you start to split the vote again.
I'm going to push for it for sure. I kind of wanted to see how this will go, but after this is over, what I'm going to do is take a look at all the results, and then take away our votes and see what happens, right? And see if we push behind one person, if that person would have won. Because it makes no sense. We just want people to win, right? So if 2 people win, that's better than 1. But if 0 people wins, that's not better than 1.
Yeah, exactly.
It's tricky. It's a very advanced game theory kind of thing. And I think there was a round recently where we didn't quite get our votes in time, so there was sort of an urgency to get them in early this time. And yeah, it's kind of a chaotic process. Can't really blame anyone for that.
Yeah, that's fair. I've got a dash. Sorry, guys. I do apologize. I'll be keeping an eye on it. Panda, I'm not sure I can join like a stream later if you're doing something for the end of the vote because of the time it will be for me. But I'll watch it up until the point I go to sleep or whatever. And good luck.
Yeah, awesome, dude. Thanks, Gardner. Thanks for joining. Really appreciate you.
No problem. You'll get there, man. See you in a bit.
Thanks.
Well, I said goodbye, Commander Riker. Thanks for joining us. You have permission to leave the bridge. I'm really into this role-playing that you inspired me.
Good.
So now that we have a minute, you taught yourself some kind of graphic design, at least on a basic level. You want to show me some stuff around, whether it's Figma or whatever you've done?
Yeah, I mean, it's just Figma.
Yeah, show me what you've done. What?
Yeah, sure. Let's do some little noun stuff. Yeah, so I had this. This is just a Figma file here with what I did is I grabbed our 15 nouns that Little Nouns owns.
Mm-hmm.
And then I just kind of laid them out.
And where's the website? So you go to Figma and you type in Little Nouns, and it has like an archive of all these images that are pertinent to Little Nouns.
No, these you have to pull in. So I just go. I found a list of our nouns, and I just pulled them, and then dragged them in as assets.
Okay.
But you can also build them from scratch. Like you can get the source files for all the assets. So, but that takes a little bit longer. So then what I did was I just kind of experimenting around here. So I got the Last Supper and I put our little noun heads on them. Grabbed the little nouns logo. These are the numbers for our little nouns. We got one of my favorites is this red stapler head. See this guy?
Mm-hmm.
So I did a little memeing with him as Mr. Stapler Man. That's fun. Here's, just grabbed a CCO photograph from Unsplash, like little Legos, kind of put our heads on them. Let's see. Yeah, this is one of my favorites. Took boxing gloves and put them on this Muhammad Ali photo.
So after we get off the stream, maybe I'll hit you in the DMs. I had an idea, and I was gonna maybe team up with Pizza if he was interested, but you might be interested. This might be in your wheelhouse. I don't really want to say what the idea is, but I think it'd be pretty beneficial to the DAO, and I think we could make a little project and maybe make some extra money. So I'll shoot you a DM after this.
Okay, hit me a DM. I'm actually gonna take a break and go walk my dog.
All right, buddy. Have a good one. Good luck. You got this.
Yeah, thanks, man. Appreciate it, English.
Bye-bye.